Hi there, this is Gary Ryan Blair, and welcome to the 100-Day Start Fast, Finish Strong Challenge, where our mission is to inspire, to promote, and to celebrate excellence. I've got a great lesson for you. It's a great way to start off the 100-Day Challenge. It's all about creating a quantum leap, about making a radical approach for maximum achievement in your performance over the course of the next 100 days. Let's get going. A quantum leap is an advance from one place, position, or situation to another, without progressing through any or all of the places or stages in between. An example would be a leapfrog from bank teller to vice president in one short year. A quantum leap allows you to leverage the knowledge, the experience, successes, and failures of others without having to pay the price yourself. And the quantum leap strategy that I'm about to share with you allows you to rapidly advance without going through the steps yourself. A quantum leap is a breakthrough strategy that you must actively seek, apply, and reinforce through your words and your actions at every opportunity and each day throughout the 100-Day Challenge. Right now, this instant, you are capable of exponential growth. Right now, at this very instant, you have the ability to multiply your performance. You have the capacity to dramatically exceed your best expectations and to achieve goals on a grand scale that in the past may have seemed impossible. And you can do all of this once you begin to implement the quantum leap strategy. You begin the process by stopping. Yeah, stopping. You must stop settling for things as they are. You must surrender the belief that change is only marginal and incremental. See, life is prepared to give you a breakthrough. That is, a spontaneous creation experience, anytime you become willing to allow it to happen. Few people or organizations ever come close to reaching their full potential, and most do not even come close. They barely scratch the surface on what they could possibly accomplish. Maybe, just maybe, the time has come for you to study the face in the mirror and decide once and for all that you're ready to rock the world. Because I promise you, if you do not choose to make that decision, someone during this 100-Day Challenge is going to make a serious quantum leap. Now let me be clear on this point. I am not talking about getting to the next level. That's not what a quantum leap is all about. What we're talking about here is getting to the next orbit. So your level of performance can improve dramatically, and so can the rate of your performance. And the best part of the quantum leap is that it requires far less effort than you've given in the past. Now let's just take a quick diversion and get a deeper understanding of the quantum leap experience. See, a quantum leap is not a new concept. One of the first academic articulation of the idea was in a 1962 essay titled Economic Backwardness in a Historical Perspective. In that essay, they had discussed that a quantum leap is a theory of development in which developing countries skip inferior, less efficient, more expensive, or more polluting technologies and industries and move directly to more advanced ones. Now, we see quantum leaps around us all the time, just that most of us don't pay all that much attention to it. But a frequent example is countries which move directly from having no telephones to having cellular phones, skipping the stage of landline telephones altogether. Another great example is an ecological quantum leap, where countries do not repeat the mistakes of highly industrialized countries in creating an energy infrastructure based on fossil fuels, but instead, they jump directly into the solar age. See, it all begins with reframing beliefs. A quantum leap has staggering implications regarding you, your potential, and the power of your mind. And to put it simply, you're going to have to reframe your beliefs about the universe and just how you fit into it. Most people operate within a mindset that success comes one step at a time. And while unspoken, the court of public opinion says that we must move systematically from our present level of achievement on to the next. Then the thinking goes, from that stage we can begin working towards graduating to still the next higher level in the sequence, what some may call gradual progress. Now this is a false and unfortunate misconception, and it's clearly reflected in the way that most people function. They go about day to day striving to make incremental gains in their performance. They repeat the same unnecessary routine, which is the pathway of conventional growth. And the good news, better yet, the great news is that life does not always have to operate in that manner. In many areas of your life, you must reframe your beliefs and think in terms of leaping levels. Now, I'm here to tell you that you can make a quantum leap from your present level of achievement to one that is several levels higher. And I mean directly. A quantum leap implies an explosive jump, a controlled explosion in your personal performance that puts you far beyond the next logical step. It is a strategy for stunning advancements in the achievement of your goals. Now, you might want to compare it to multiplication instead of addition. It means a geometric and, if performed consistently, a perpetual progression in your effectiveness. And I know this is exciting as well as provocative, and it gets even better because a quantum leap can come with little effort. These are highly leveraged moves that carry you to dramatically higher levels without a lot of energy. A quantum leap for many people may appear to violate common sense. The very idea of moving to a higher orbit and leaping over several logical steps strikes most people as far-fetched, maybe even outrageous. After the fact, though, a quantum leap will look like a practical, sensible, even obvious move, but they typically do not present themselves as obvious at the very moment. Invariably, a quantum leap is not a complex nor is it an intricate maneuver, but it is a simple, energy-efficient, and time-saving strategy. So let's talk about the acceleration process. A quantum leap requires the vigorous employment of new and better behaviors. A quantum leap demands paradoxical behavior, highly unusual moves and actions that on the surface will fly in the face of conventional thinking. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And as human beings, we usually go with the obvious, with a comfortable move. We usually fall into the habit of relying on behaviors that seem to have worked best for us over the years. We don't easily surrender a habit pattern, especially when it appears to be a well-functioning one. And we resist new ideas and maneuvers because they make us feel clumsy, awkward, and more at risk. We have a strong tendency to become overly dependent on strategies and the tactics that they involve. But if you want to enjoy the fruits that only a quantum leap experience can deliver, then you must be willing to break out of your routines and your current mindset. A quantum leap cannot be achieved through incremental steps or through more of the same. You have to follow new patterns of thought and action, and you have to do it now. And the most important part of a quantum leap begins inside your mind. You must surrender the belief that working harder and longer is the solution. It isn't, as trying harder only produces incremental gains, certainly not perpetual leaps. If you want to make a quantum leap in your performance, quit thinking about trying harder, because more effort is not the answer. So what is the answer? Well, the answer is to get out of the way. Let me explain. You must learn to relax. See, instead of trying harder and working longer, you must relax your mind and take the easier approach. That's right. The quantum leap strategy will fascinate you with what it offers in terms of return on an investment. So you will accomplish far more with less effort than you've been currently giving. And I know that's impressive enough. However, the real bonus is the speed at which you receive this bigger payoff. A quantum leap demands new patterns of thought and action. And if you try to achieve a breakthrough by simply trying harder, the best, and I emphasize the best that you can hope for, is gradual gains. That is, incremental progress maybe, but certainly not a significant leap in your performance. Most of us are wired to believe that achieving more calls for greater effort, and when stuck, we rely on trying harder to get unstuck. But doing more of the same doesn't sit well with a quantum leap strategy. When stuck, you must look for radically different approaches that would be easier, perhaps almost effortless. Working harder does not automatically equate with better. The reasoning for this is stunningly simple. So your level of effort doesn't matter as much as the kind of effort. And I repeat that. Your level of effort doesn't matter as much as the kind of effort. In other words, what you do is much more important than how you do it. See, a quantum leap isn't something you make happen. It's something that you allow to happen. So the answer is to get out of the way. You must embrace the unconventional. A quantum leap being a radical concept requires unconventional behavior. So you're going to have to do something that's out of the ordinary for you. The quantum leap process isn't a particularly easy maneuver. It's quite unnerving to shoot for the stars, and the natural tendency is to turn to your most familiar habit patterns, what I call psychological gravity. You want to give it your best shot, so you're drawn towards that set of behaviors that traditionally brought you success in the past. On one hand, it absolutely makes sense, at least on the surface it does. Do what you do best. But the rules of the game have changed as it relates to a quantum leap. See, a quantum leap is a new drill altogether, and it requires an entirely different set of mental muscles. Your old methodologies will cripple your chances for making a quantum leap. Now let's be honest and cut right to the chase. If merely doing what you do best were enough to produce a quantum leap, you would already be making them regularly. You must do something new. You must be willing to sidestep the trap of faith in the familiar and chart a path that, for you at least, is novel. A quantum leap happens when you seek the elegant solution. So look for an approach characterized by simplicity, by precision, efficiency, and neatness. It won't be as complex, as stressful, nor as time-consuming as your present struggle. Overall, it will be less demanding of your energies and your emotions, and it will not be familiar, nor will it be mentally comfortable. A quantum leap calls for a unique, fresh perspective. It calls for a savvy move and a path of least resistance. See, there is a way that you can do a whole lot more with less. Webster's defines common sense as ordinary good sense or practical judgment. And what could possibly be wrong with that? But why does the quantum leap strategy insist that you ignore common sense? And that's what I want to explain right now. See, the quantum leap strategy is based on the application of uncommon sense. It requires a radically unconventional approach. Leapfrogging is based on what you can do now, and that doesn't necessarily have much at all to do with what you've done in the past. When you drill right down into it, common sense is just what it sounds like. It's what people today commonly believe. And common sense is full of limitations, especially when it comes to creating a breakthrough. And you know what? It's always been that way. Common sense used to say that the world is flat. Bleed people if you want to heal them. The idea of a man on the moon was once pure science fiction. So was TV, heart transplants, and even the internet. Common sense still lies to you. It focuses on the obstacles. It reviews what you've done in the past. It studies the normal achievement patterns of people in general and then tells you what you can commonly expect. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and if you only rely on common sense to make a breakthrough, you can only expect to see common results. Ignoring common sense allows you to think, to dream, and conceptualize astounding accomplishments. So what would be a goal well beyond the boundary of the probable, far beyond the obvious next logical step for you? A quantum leap requires you to start thinking about all of the grand things you want to be, all the things you want to have, and all the grand things that you want to do with your life, instead of what common sense is the reasonable thing for you to expect. Now, don't get the idea that anything is possible, because it isn't. But in some areas of your life, what is within your reach is enough to stagger your mind. You can achieve a level of success far beyond anything you're currently experiencing. You can leverage and actualize your performance on a monumental scale, and that is the purpose of this 100-day challenge. True, there are limits, but you do not need to worry about them. Your real limits are far beyond your artificial limits. See, the real limits won't box you in, but the false ones that you're carrying around in your mind are a self-imposed prison. Seeking the quantum leap experience means violating the boundary of the probable. It means achieving well beyond the obvious. So do not settle for what you can have. You must allow yourself to go after what it is that you want. This means you must give yourself permission to dream big, to risk big. You must set yourself free and allow the quantum leap to take place. You must get out of the way. You also must act with complete faith. So I've got a few questions for you. What would you go for if you knew that your success was guaranteed? What would you do? How would you proceed in terms of specific action steps? Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to just act as if success were guaranteed. I want you to operate with complete faith. Simply do what you'd do if you knew you were going to succeed. Relax. Don't force a thing and behave like you have total conviction. Just make the jump and act with complete confidence that success will be yours, that you will make monumental progress in the 100-day challenge. Now, your mindset for the moment may be flawed by doubt and skepticism, as the idea of making huge performance leaps, jumping from your present level of achievement to one several stages higher in one bold stroke, is an alien idea for most. You've not been trained to think this way at all in your life. You may have definite reservations about the possibility that you can make such exponential improvements at all, particularly with less effort and in a much abbreviated time frame. Your doubts and skepticism is rooted in mental limitation. Your doubts are not the product of accurate thinking, but they are the product of habitual thinking. So years ago, you drank the Kool-Aid, and you accepted the flawed conclusions as correct. You began to live your life as if those warped ideas about your potential were indeed true, and you ceased the bold experiment in living that brought you to many breakthroughs as a child. Now it's time for you to find the faith that you had in yourself. My advice at this moment, right now, is that if you want to be skeptical of some ideas that truly deserve to be called into question, then challenge the thoughts and beliefs that have argued against you taking those big, bold, and audacious moves. Doubt is the enemy of hope, as it does the majority of damage in your life. Therefore, do not give it any mental space. You must proceed boldly. You must act as if it is completely inconceivable that you will experience anything other than a significant leap in your performance. And if you still feel like doubting something, then do this. Doubt your self-imposed limits. Now, there's a great term in law that states that possession is 9/10 of the law. That's what I want to talk about right now. I want you to mentally develop a crystal clear picture of where you want to land at the end of your magnificent leap, at the end of this 100-day challenge. I want you to operate with a sharply defined mental image of the outcome that you seek for yourself. Focus your attention on that spot where you are to land. Visualize your arrival and let the feeling inhabit your mind completely, and do it now. When you possess the successful outcome in your mind, you begin to magnetize yourself to the ways and means involved in the methodology for getting there. The solutions begin to appear. Answers come to you with very little effort. The key is not to get in the way. And you must remember that a quantum leap is not something you make happen. It's something that you allow to happen. If you start worrying about everything that will be involved in getting from here to there, you are going to get bogged down in the questions about methodology. And people always get hung up on the how-to aspects regarding the process of making a quantum leap. Skip it. Skip it altogether. See, the answers will come as long as you act with complete faith and stay out of the way. Now listen closely. A quantum leap is a move that you're already prepared to make. You just have not done it yet. You have the potential, the resources are readily available, and the opportunity right now with the 100-day challenge is there. What has been missing is your decision to go for it. Perhaps this will help you frame the situation a bit better. A quantum leap is something that you've been keeping from happening. It's not something you have to struggle to make happen. You do not force it, nor do you will it into existence. You simply let it occur. The key, once again, is getting out of the way mentally. A quantum leap is the unexpected that comes to you with sudden grace. You can open yourself up to such a breakthrough. You can even invite it, but you can't make it happen by struggling harder or insisting on the perfect plan. A quantum leap is an intuitive, instinctive discovery process that cuts across the conventional way of thinking. Therefore, you must be willing to tolerate ambiguity, confusion, possibly even chaos for a while, shaping your game plan as you go. You must allow some disorder to take place. And if you find yourself getting too concerned with a step-by-step plan of action to be followed, you'll find yourself brooding over the potential problems and roadblocks that could be encountered. For now, all you need is a direction and action. Just make sure your aim is good. Open yourself up to the unexpected and proceed. A quantum leap, by definition, means leaping into uncharted territory with no guide to follow. You personally allow the map to be drawn as you move through the process with complete faith and conviction. You must pull strength from the unknown. A quantum leap may seem unrealistic if you think of it as something you do all by yourself. The fact is, you don't. You must forget the idea that you should be able to see, tangibly, and in full view all the resources necessary to leverage up your performance so dramatically. There are resources that you can access that cannot be seen, and I emphasize, there are resources that you can access that cannot be seen, as they are far greater and much more powerful than the resources you might readily observe. See, absence of evidence is not evidence of their absence, and I repeat, absence of evidence is not evidence of their absence. A quantum leap is merely the process of using yourself and your world differently, thus allowing other possibilities that exist to actually materialize in your life. Your willingness to leap is the enabler. You must take advantage of the support systems that you cannot see. You must rely on unseen forces to create a breakthrough. See, they operate through your subconscious mind, mental imagery, intuition, and luck. You might be hit with a flash of inspiration during a moment of solitude. A creative solution to a problem may come to you even in a dream. So your breakthrough idea can flash through your mind while you're visualizing your goal. Somehow, the resources you need will appear almost by coincidence. It might be helpful to think of yourself as a receiving set. You have to tune in to unseen forces. You have to get on the right wavelength, and there's a simple process to follow in doing that. So you begin the process by writing down a clear, concise, and very, very detailed description of your goal. The unseen forces need to know exactly what it is that you want to do. They need to know where you're headed, what you're trying to accomplish through the leapfrog experience. Now, with this crystal clear picture in mind, add the following quantum leap ritual to your daily routine. Next, draw a picture or a symbol of your goal, of what will represent your leapfrog experience. Simply sketch it out in a notebook or a plain piece of paper. Do not type, do not use a computer for this exercise. If you happen to have a photo or a picture of your goal, or one that symbolizes it, lightly trace around the edges with your finger. As you do this, imagine yourself being there, having already accomplished the goal. Next, read your goal out loud to yourself. Make sure your objective is stated in the affirmative, as if you have already achieved it. Next, mentally inhabit your leapfrog. Close your eyes and visualize the goals as achieved. Keep this image in your mind for 5 minutes. Yes, for 5 minutes. Just hold it there, thinking through such details as how success will feel, how it will sound, taste, smell, or even look. Next, bring the results of your leapfrogging experience in your mind with all the little specific details that you can think of. Let your 5 senses work on that, and your 6th sense will begin to work with the unseen forces. This is how you pull strength from the unknown. Next, write down immediately all of the insights, the ideas, or action steps that come your way. Then, I want you to write this: I am making a quantum leap. I know exactly where I'm going, and I am open to the unexpected. Scribble that into your notebook and then date it. Always write these things down to close out the quantum leap ritual. So let's now talk about risk and reward associated with making a quantum leap. You've got to understand that you can never escape risk. It's not something you can decide to live with or without. Something is always at risk with every decision that you make in your life. You can only decide which risk you're going to take. Whether you choose to make a quantum leap or to follow your usual routines, you are putting something on the line. So be mindful. You must choose carefully and don't kid yourself with the idea that playing it safe by living the status quo gives you the best odds. That may very well be the surest way of losing. Your potential deserves respect and attention, certainly not your doubts and skepticism. So give yourself a chance to prove what you can really do over the course of 100 days. I want you to risk believing in yourself instead of running the risk of wasting your fine potential by settling for small incremental gains. Risk acting on the assumption that you can succeed in making a quantum leap. Otherwise, the risk is that you will settle for only a small fraction of what life has to offer you. A quantum leap is a liberating experience, as once you choose to go for it, you'll immediately discover that your personal limits are determined primarily by what you're willing to attempt. Your limits are set by your decisions and about where you choose to push or not to push. A quantum leap is an action concept. A relentless, passionate pursuit is a key factor in the quantum leap strategy. Goals are acquired through one simple mode of transportation: purposeful action. Movement and mobility are the tools of education, as action keeps you learning. Pursuit teaches you what works and what does not. And doing nothing except passively wishing for what you want doesn't generate enough new data. And obviously, doing nothing except hoping and wanting will not put you any closer to your objective. Pursuit with passion empowers you and generates a steady stream of critically valuable information you couldn't obtain any other way. The quantum leap is firmly based on the premise of pursuit with passion. The quantum leap requires that you take the offensive, as you can't achieve exponential gains in your success from a defensive posture. So place your trust in action and breathe life into your goals. You must also embrace the F word. See, the dreaded F word, failure, is so important, yet so misunderstood. See, failure serves as an indispensable function in the production of your breakthrough. It provides you with information and motivation for you to learn from and apply. and it's a sign that points towards progress. However, depending on your perception, it moves you one step closer to or further from your goals. A quantum leap depends on a constant stream of small and occasionally large failures. Unfortunately, failure gets a bum rap. The thing about failure that's important to note is that failure is not only the output of an unsuccessful activity, but it's also the input for a successful one. And unless failure is understood and respected as an integral part of making a quantum leap, it will forever remain widely perceived as unnecessary, objectionable, something to be avoided at all costs. A proactive response to failure is impossible as long as you see failure only in negative terms. Anything worthwhile in your life and during this 100-day challenge is worth pursuing, even though the risk is huge, the investment formidable, and failure a distinct possibility. Failure lobs an occasional grenade at success. Failure will ask for your resignation letter, and it will attempt to extract a pound of flesh. It goads and prods you into quitting, but success always hangs in the balance. A quantum leap requires that you expose your goals and ambitions to the elements of failure, rejection, and attack in the same way that you expose a forest to rain, sleet, and snow. As it's primarily through solving problems, overcoming obstacles, and managing adversity that we grow strong and get to enjoy colossal breakthroughs. Remember that halfway through surgery it looks like a murder took place. Progress often masquerades as trouble, yet mistakes and failures typically carry the clues for a breakthrough performance. So let's talk about inconvenience as it relates to making a quantum leap. A quantum leap jerks you from your comfort zone, so prepare yourself for a wild ride. You're going to cover some unfamiliar terrain and encounter obstacles you've never faced before in your life. It will feel like the safety chain, linking you with behavior patterns that worked in the past, is being stretched to the limit. And at times you may wonder if the situation is about to spin out of control. And the normal reaction is to hold on tightly, but a quantum leap requires that you let go, that you relax, and once again, that you get out of the way. See, when you make a quantum leap, you ride the situation, but you don't really control it that much. It's a lot like riding a huge wave when you're surfing. So therefore, you must enjoy the ride and adapt to the current. In fact, the only control you really do have is knowing where you are going with complete certainty. Secondly, continuing the pursuit with passion. And third, learning from your mistakes and adapting to the lessons. See, a quantum leap is an act of faith. It's an exhilarating and scary experience all at the same time. You have to surrender a large degree of security and safety. You must plow through greater amounts of ambiguity and confusion and uncertainty. You must wrestle with a totally new set of problems. You must invite failure and possibly content with criticism from other people who question your logic. Now, does the thought of making a quantum leap make you uncomfortable? Well, it should. And you know what? That's a real good sign. And if you're not experiencing any anxiety or discomfort right now, well, the risk you're taking probably isn't worthy of you. See, the only risks that aren't a little scary are the ones that you've outgrown. So now's the time. Now's the time to make that quantum leap. So you are at this very moment poised for a breakthrough. Right now, this instant, you are capable of exponential growth. You have the ability to multiply your performance. You have the capacity to dramatically exceed your best expectations and to achieve goals on a grand scale that will absolutely blow your mind. You can do all of this once you begin to implement the quantum leap strategy. Now, please understand, a quantum leap is not something you prepare for. You simply make the leap and you fine-tune your approach, taking whatever the world gives you as far as feedback, failure, contacts, opportunities, luck, and incredible breakthroughs. You simply go for it. You do not wait for perfect circumstances. You allow this breakthrough to happen, and you allow it to happen today. See, a quantum leap is something that you are prepared to do long before you ever heard about the 100-day challenge. And the best way to get ready is to get going and to get going now. You don't even have to feel ready in order to be ready. Right now, you know enough to get started, and you will learn the rest as you go. Making a quantum leap to the next orbit is a move that is yours for the taking right now. It represents a defining moment in your life, a giant step that you can make merely by deciding to and opening yourself up to the resources presently available to serve you. Don't tell yourself that you need more time. Quite frankly, it's nothing more than a stalling tactic. It's an active anxiety. It's a con game you're working on yourself. Your dreams, your goals, and intimate desires carry the messages that help you to find your true north. They point you directly towards your breakthrough. Now I want you to use everything I've shared with you inside this specific lesson to leap yourself to a new level of profound achievements and freedom. Employ the Quantum Leap strategy today. I want you to begin the 100-day challenge knowing well in advance that you are going to make monumental performance gains, and then get out of the way. I want you to ride this as you're about to go on a magnificent journey.